welcome to Ellen Ruth Soap. I'm Ellen, and today we are getting ready for fall season and all the yummy fragrances, you know, pumpkin spice, everything. That's what we're doing today. And the fragrance that I'm choosing today is pumpkin cheesecake from Be Scented. This smells delish. Of course, it has a big vanillin load and it discolors soap to dark brown, but it behaves well in soap, which is fabulous. So this is the fragrance. Yummy, yummy, big discoloration. It's kind of the woe of the maker's world with all these delicious, you know, scents coming into fall time through the winter scents, those really scrumptious foodie scents. 9 out of 10 times they're going to have vanillin and discolor. So we're going to kind of roll with it today. And what we're doing today, I love these molds, my little bundt cakes. They are so cute. Look at that. I love them. And they're the perfect little guest size soap, and they're really cute. So we're going to make little bundt cakes. I'm going to take a portion of the soap batter off and leave it unscented. So hopefully I can get a little dimension and a little swirl in there. We shall see. And then on the top, after I pop my bundt cakes out, I want to do a little melt and pour drizzle, like a frosting or a glaze on there. And I have my little leaves. These are just sugar, so they'll dissolve and pop off. They won't hurt your, you know, septic tank or anything. They're just sugar. But how cute are those? I love them. So those are going to go on top with this yummy fall scent. Oh man, I'm a sucker for foodie, warm scents. I love them, but they usually discolor. So we'll see how it goes. I've got to get everything pulled together, and let's come back and make some really cute little pumpkin cheesecake bundt cakes. All right, guys, we are back as promised, and we're going to go step by step through how I make my lye solution. I feel like I've shown this in other videos, but I always get asked, please show us exactly how you do it. So that's what we're going to do. We're ready. I got my little mold off to the side. I love these so much. All right, I digress. Lye. I like to use these little stainless steel containers. You can use glass, you can use stainless steel, you can use plastic. Do not use aluminum. Does not work well with lye. Sodium hydroxide and aluminum are not friends. So I have my little, this is actually like a little milk frother from Coffee Shop. I will leave a link down below. I got it on Amazon. They're relatively inexpensive and they just last forever. So it's a decent little investment. So I have this scale tared out to grams. I'll measure in grams today. And let's talk about safety gear. All right, the first thing, working with sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide, is you want to protect your eyes. It is very dangerous for your eyes. So be respectful. You don't need to be afraid to make your lye solution. Caution is your friend. So eye gear is going on right now. Okay, mask. I don't wear this the whole time, but when you mix your lye in, it will fume up. So put it on when you first mix it or stand way back. Some people go outside to mix their lye solution, but mask up because those fumes, they're not fun to breathe. Once it's done off gassing, it's totally fine. It doesn't emit any odor or anything, but just that first, I would say 60 to 90 seconds, you don't want to breathe that, trust me. So on goes the mask. Here we are. Hi. I'm at such an awkward angle. All right, here I am. Hi, guys. Okay, and last but not least, of course, gloves. You want to protect your skin, your hands. I do have arm sleeve bands. Okay, I got these on Amazon. I think they're actually billed as gardening arm protectors. They have like a scratch resistant, like if you're dealing with thorny bushes or whatever, but they are so cool. They're very lightweight, and they have a little edging on the top, to a little grippy to kind of hold it on your upper arm. They're pretty comfortable to wear. I forget to put them on often, so this is one of those do as I say, not as I do. But there it is. They're kind of cute and fashionable. They come in so many different colors. I'll leave a link for the ones I got. They get the job done for protecting your arms from your lye solution, your skin. You know, you don't want to come into contact. So the off-gassing is a thing in the beginning, but even after it cools, it's still caustic. Until this saponifies with your oils, it's a caustic material. So be careful. Next step, the gloves. I wear these in all of my videos for making soap with the lye area, and you know, it's just, please do it. Please wear your gloves. Please wear your eye protection, your mask, the whole 9 yards. You know, why mess around with it? So now we're ready to get going. First thing I like to do is measure out my liquid portion. Today I am using distilled water. It is cold. I keep this jug in my refrigerator. You could use aloe vera juice, milks. There's all kinds of different liquids, but we're going really simple today and we're doing water. And I need 113 grams of distilled water. And I recommend distilled water. It is not a must. You could use rainwater. You can use tap water, but if you live in the city and you have a lot of minerals or additives in your water, you know, it can affect the trace. You'll still make soap, don't worry about it, but it's just a distilled water is clean and devoid of anything that's gonna mess around with your soap batch, so I just recommend it. All right, 113 grams. All right, there you go. It's not much. This is a small batch of soap today, and this is a 25% water volume. And what that means is 25% of the total oils. So when you go to Soap Calc, the default is 38%. That's the normal amount of water that they just have in there as a default. So you can do way more water than I'm doing. I always like to work with a steep water discount. I don't know why I got into that habit, but that's how I roll. So this is a 25% water, just so you know why it is such a low volume. And the next thing I do after I have my water is I put in my sugar. What I use is just unbleached, knock it up there, unbleached cane sugar, any powdered sugar, white sugar. You don't have to add sugar at all. Sugar is a lather booster. That's why I put it in there. When you use a fruit puree in your soap or a milk, they have milk sugars, fruit has sugar. All those things make bubbles. So that's why I add this in. And I don't actually have an exact, let me put it up here and I'll measure and I'll tell you what I put in today. So normally I will put in about a teaspoon. This scoop I have here is a 2 tablespoon scoop. So I'll just, you know, it's loosey-goosey. Okay, so I just put in 10 grams of sugar. Let's call that the exact amount. It's one of those things where I've been doing it so long, I kind of lost the finesse to measure things. I'm so comfortable with it. So, all right, we got our 10 grams of sugar, and now I just need to stir this around and let it dissolve. You do not want to add your sodium hydroxide when you still have sugar crystals because they'll caramelize and just get chunky, and it's, you know, it doesn't hurt the soap, but it, you know, you don't want chunks of sugar in your soap. So dissolve your sugar first if you're adding sugar. I had somebody on YouTube comment if I've worked with sorbitol. If you have, please comment down below. I have not worked with sorbitol in soap, so I have no experience. I couldn't really speak to it, but apparently it's a thing, and I've not tried it, so there it is. All right, we're almost all the way dissolved here, and this little chunked up spatula is my designated lye spatula, and it's not pretty, but it gets the job done, so that's why it's there. You'll see it in a lot of my videos. I've just had this thing forever in a lifetime, and there it is. All right, so that's pretty well dissolved. Now comes, I like to add silk. Again, you can leave this out. You'll have wonderful soap. You don't need silk in your soap, but I love it and I have it, so I'm trying to use it up. This is Tussa silk fibers. I was gifted some mulberry silk one time and I loved it. This is a very rough, milled, it's not super, it's not bleached. It's very kind of natural, and it even has some little bits in it. So it's, you know, it's very natural. You can get bleached and combed silk if you want to do that. So I just take a pinch. I can't tell you how much it weighs. It has no weight. I don't think even a jewelry scale would pick that up. Not much, just a pinch. And I throw it down in the bottom of my pot. It's as simple as that. Now the heat mass from adding our lye, our sodium hydroxide, is going to melt that silk very quickly. I mean, it melts fast. That's one of the issues when you're making a milk soap and you have 100% milk. It's hard to add the silk because you don't get your milk hot enough to melt it. You add your lye very slowly, and you're trying really hard not to get it too hot because you'll scorch your milk. So if you're doing a milk soap, just skip the silk. But if you're doing water or aloe, you can throw your silk in there, and I just love it. If you've been with me for any amount of time, you know I love all the extra bells and whistles. Well, the silk is one of those. All right, let me tear out my scale, and now comes the sodium hydroxide part. We need 54 grams of lye. And sodium hydroxide is different than potassium hydroxide. Both are lye, but they're different. So I'm not going to go into that. Well, I've done a dual lye shaving soap, and I talked a little bit about them in that, but I'm digressing off the subject. We need 54 grams, and just measure slow and steady. And again, you don't need to be fearful, but just respectful. There we go. And now you want to just stir this until you don't feel any chunks or grit in the bottom of your, pot. You want to make sure it's 100% dissolved before you stop stirring. I do not feel any more grit down there, and the off-gassing has kind of stopped. There it is. Normally I let this cool and I go get my oils prepped and all that before I add my last bell and whistle, which you don't need to add again, sodium lactate. This hardens it up a little faster, and it helps it unmold really easy. And when I'm doing, especially when I'm doing a fancy little mold like that, I want it to pop out really clean so all the details show. And so this really helps in that. You add, let me pull the scale away, we don't need that anymore. You add sodium lactate at a rate of 1 teaspoon per pound of oils. And so I'm gonna add 1 full teaspoon because this entire batch is about 18 ounces, which is just over 1 pound. So, and again, it's a little loosey-goosey. You could go a little more. It wouldn't hurt your soap. I wouldn't go less, or it might not unmold, but a teaspoon per pound is a good rule of thumb. So here's my teaspoon. I'm just gonna add it in here. And sometimes because I add it after I've let this cool, I'll forget, and I have forgotten in many soaps, and the soap is still beautiful. If you don't have it and you don't want to use it, you're totally good to go. So there is our lye solution. We just need to let this cool, and then let's get our oil portion ready and get to making some cute little pumpkin cakes. All right, we are back to add our soap additives in our little teeny tiny batch of soap. So I've got my colloidal oats and my kaolin clay here, and I'll be adding about a teaspoon of each. And it's almost like the sodium lactate, about 1 teaspoon per pound of soap, or up to 1 tablespoon you can add with your dry ingredients. I'm going about a teaspoon here. Again, these are 2 tablespoon scoops, so I'm kind of eyeballing it. A little loosey-goosey, but we're okay with that here on some things. Not loosey-goosey with the lye. Other things you can play around with. So let me get this blended in, and then our lye solution should be cooled off enough for us to get moving forward. All right, we're back. It's time to get moving forward. Let me talk about this little pot of oils I've got going on here. The recipe will be written down below in the description box. It says more, that little highlighted more button. That'll take you to all the goodness, links for what I'm using today, as well as the recipe. So what I've got in here is 129 grams of lard, 129 grams of coconut, 18 grams of cocoa butter, 18 grams of castor oil, and 74 grams of high oleic sunflower oil. And that is my olive oil saving money hack, is a high oleic sunflower oil. Anyway, that's what's going on in here. You already know what's going on over here. And I've got my fragrance off to the side that I'll be adding after I split off for my little titanium dioxide swirl. And I've got my mold on a tray so that I can move it around when I'm done here and film something different. I learned that the hard way. I put these floppy molds on the table and filled them, and then my table was useless the rest of the day until they firmed up. So put your floppy mold on a tray. That's my pro tip. All right, let's get this going here. I'm just gonna pour in our lye solution with all the goodness. And working with discoloring fragrance, it's a holiday staple. You think everything from October through Christmas, those yummy fragrances, they usually discolor. So pulling out a little unscented is sort of my way of dealing with I have tried using titanium dioxide in the entire batch, and it just never comes out well. It's kind of blotchy, and you can lighten it up a little, but you know, why fight it? Sometimes it's best to just roll with the punches. And so pulling off some unscented is my way of doing that. So we've got emulsion. Let me split off, and I'm just going to pour a little. I just want a wispy swirl, not a ton. There. That'll just give a little dimension to it. And then here's my pre-mixed titanium dioxide. There we go. And now let's add our fragrance in here and get it blended up and do an in the pot swirl. All right, we are back. It's the next day, and that was interesting. So this fragrance, I wouldn't say it's a super fast trace, like definitely not soap on a stick, but it thickened up way faster than the titanium dioxide portion. And you saw when I was pouring it, it got a little chunky, but that's fine. You know, when it's all saponified at the end of the day, it'll still be beautiful, but I had a hard time getting that white portion to sort of thread through. So I don't know how modelly this is going to be, and it is still going to do quite a bit of discoloring yet to come. But let's get these out of the mold. Oh wow, these are so cute. Look at, and so as the beige parts there discolor, they will the colors will pop a little bit more. And I'm going to get these unmolded, and then I will show you how I trim up the rough edges here, because it's a little, you know, chunkage there, but you know, it's one of those things. You win some, you lose some. So maybe they will be a little bit light. I think the color is going to be very marbly, the effect when the discoloration finishes. You can already see the un-titanium dioxide portion, but how pretty is that? And I have these on a little sort of a baking cooling rack, so when I do the melt and pour drizzle over the top, it'll just drip through. Oh my goodness. I always have the hardest time picking which of these shapes I like best. They're each just so cute. And these smell divine. That's the thing, you know, these holiday scents all the way from, you know, Halloween, fall, autumn season through Christmas. They smell so good. And you know, what are you going to do? They discolor. You got to learn to live with it, roll with it, because they're too good to pass up, right? Oh, that one's pretty. These little bundt cake molds are so cute. And these bars are very comfortable to use. They're just a really nice little palm size. What a great stocking stuffer, teacher's gift, guest soap in your bathroom. I just think these are adorable. All right, let me get my little scrap pack over here, and we'll trim these up, and then we will get to the drizzly top. And this is my scrap pack from Eco Soap Bank. It's a donation site. They take failed batches of soap, they take soap scraps, soap ends, all of that. They recycle it, turn it into new soap. They employ impoverished women. It's just a great organization. I'll let you do the research. I'll leave a link down below. But it's been a really nice place for me to send all my trimmings, because how many confetti soaps can you make, really? And rebatch soap. It's a lot of soap you end up with, and I don't want to waste it. You know, this is, each and every batch is really wonderful, and you spent all this time making it. I love that this is going to go and become something new. That makes my heart happy. So this has just these jaggedy little edges that don't feel comfortable. When this hardens up, it's not just going to be comfortable in the hand. So I like to take my little vegetable peeler and just go around the edge just once. I'm not trying to accomplish some fancy bevel, but I want it to be smooth and have no sharp edges for use. That's how I like it. And there, it just feels a little softer on your hand. So I'll do the rest of these and then we'll get on to the next step. All right, it is time to make our melt and pour drizzle to go over the top. I've got my cute little fall leaves, sugar pearls. These are sugar, so they're fine to use. They'll just dissolve. And how cute are those? I've got my melt and pour here. This is a low sweat melt and pour from Nurture Soap. And I'm using the white because I'm also going to be adding, just to give it a little shimmer sparkle, this French white shimmer mica. This is from Wholesale Supplies Plus. It's just got a little bit of a silver shimmer. I just want it to be sparkly. So I'm going to chunk it up. I don't really have an amount in mind. I just know I want to be able to generously drizzle these. So I'll chunk up a little bit, melt it, add the color, and then while it's still wet, I'll sprinkle the leaves on a little bit so they'll stick on there. That's how we're going to top these off. All right, here you go. I think these are so cute. I'm just thrilled with how they came out. They make me really happy. But what I'm gonna do is let them sit for a few days before I come in and do the outro to this video, because I'm curious, and I know you're curious, to see how this discolors with the TD that I ended up sort of folding into most of the batter. So I'm gonna let these kind of do their thing, and we will be back in a few days to wrap it up. But I think they are so cute. All right, guys, it has been, I think, about 4 or 5 days since I made these. They may even get a little darker yet, but I need to finish the outro so I can get this video edited and all out to you. But look at how cute. There's the modelly. Let me see. Let me find one with more light color in it. Here we go. This one had more of the white in there because it wasn't folding in, because the scented portion did thicken up a lot more than my little white unscented portion. But I am not mad at these. I think they are adorable. They smell beyond scrumptious. Do not take a bite. You might want to put a warning sign on here, do not eat. And I just wanted to put a few of those little leaves. Plus, when I did the melt and pour drizzle, it hardened up so quick it was hard to get the leaves to stick, so kind of had to move quickly. I probably could have just sprinkled loosely and let them kind of stick wherever, but there is the discoloration with the light portion I folded in. But in this design, with the intricate sides to these, I think it all sort of works. I'm very happy. These are so cute. These are going to make wonderful gifts. And I hope you enjoyed today's video. I do hope you give the recipe a try. Really good. Give that scent a try. I am not affiliated with Be Scented, but they have great sales, and I just really appreciate their offerings over at their shop. So go check them out. If you've never shopped with them, give them a look. It's pretty good stuff. There it is. Oh, these smell great. I hope you have a wonderful day.